Katz and Cosby on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And we are back here on Katz and Cosby. And joining us now is Victoria Coates, former Deputy National Security Advisor. Victoria, I don't know, did you hear John before the break?
I did not. I came on during the break. What was he saying?
So John, give her a recap. John believes what's online.
What's more important than Iran, is that we don't lose November. We lose November, then our country is in deep problems. If we allowed whoever's in charge of Iran to keep running it right now, open the Strait of Hormuz, get oil flowing again, bring the price of energy down. The price of energy comes down, then the Fed is not embarrassed to lower interest rates. So you go into September with lower interest rates. You go into September with low energy prices, and you go into September that trillions of dollars of new business are coming into America. And the Small Business Administration fuels the small businesses to build around those new businesses coming into America, new pharmaceutical companies, new automobile companies. Then you're going to have a great economy in September, a great economy, and lower energy prices and lower interest rates. Then I think the Dow Jones could hit close to 60,000 by December 31. 2026. And that's just my opinion.
But your synopsis is...
No, see, I just, knowing Trump, as long as I do, I feel that this is what he's feeling in his heart. But I'd like to get Victoria's opinion.
Yeah, what do you think, Victoria? Belief that winning the midterms... More important is John's thought. I would obviously love to see both. But your thoughts?
Well, I think I'm going to embrace the and, Rita. I'm going to be with you. And I strongly agree with everything John said. I work for a 501c3, so I would never, ever dabble in politics. But if I did, I would say that, yes, these midterms were are extremely consequential for us as a country. And if we lose them, even just the House, we will be spending the next 2 years consumed with, lawsuits. Nothing will be furthered from the president's agenda. That would be a disaster. So we really don't want that to happen. I agree. The sooner we can get energy flowing out of the Strait of Hormuz, the better. I heard a number of $2.18 for gasoline by Labor Day. If we can achieve that, John,
yes,
we achieve everything that you're talking about at the same
agree.
Time.
We need that great economy to be able to people realize we have the great economy, and a lot of people in Wall Street already vision that. But the Fed will not lower interest rates. They're embarrassed to lower interest rates because the way the newspapers and the press is running it. We're in a runaway inflation period again. It's not a runaway inflation period. It is. The fact is that we have a temporary situation because we have a temporary high energy rate.
No, absolutely. And bear in mind, all of those molecules that are bottled up in the Gulf, if they come roaring through the Strait, on top of everything we're producing here, we're going to have an oil glut before we know it. So I really think we're going to be looking at a summer of quickly diminishing energy prices, which will bring about the happy results you want. But at the same time, if what the president is telling us is accurate, and I have no reason to doubt him, he is insisting that we're going to get an expansion of the Abraham Accords. We're going to get the nuclear dust out of Iran. And that country has been destroyed. They just announced today they had to turn the internet back on because they can't afford to keep it off anymore. I assume that's part of them doing things to show good faith to us, as opposed to during the Obama administration when we had to send them tens of billions of dollars in cash to get them to talk to us. Now it's the shoes on the other foot. So we're going to see some additional changes in Iran. I think our happy outcome, Rita, where we're happy, John's happy, everybody's happy. That can happen this summer.
Yeah, and I think it's going to happen soon, don't you, Victoria? Because he doesn't want to wait, to John's point. He doesn't want to be, moved around back and forth by the Iranians, but he also knows that he wants to get the gas prices back where they should be.
And he really got pissed off. The president got really pissed off when Secretary Wright says, we're going to go into high prices in January till January 27. That was a lot of crap.
Yeah, it was a lot of crap.
He's going to come right down to 60 right when Hormuz is open up and the fact that there's a ceasefire and there's no war.
Yeah, it'll drop. I think, don't you think, John? I think it's going to drop immediately.
My only concern is that Putin realizes everything I've said and they keep stirring the pot between China and Russia.
John, keep an eye on the Ukraine space because Ukraine is starting to make some gains. They have this incredible new drone technologies they've developed. And I'm working on a piece which is, hey, don't look now, but did Donald Trump just resolve Ukraine? And if you go back to that meeting in the Oval Office in January of 2025 that everybody said was such a disaster, oh my gosh, Vice President Vance was so mean to President Zelensky. Well, you know what? That put the fear of God into President Zelensky, that the United States was not going to be his checkbook of first resort going forward. And he went back to Ukraine and said, we're going to have to do a lot of this on our own because the United States is going to help, and we have continued to help, but they're not going to be a blank check because Congress won't do it anymore, and the president won't do it anymore.
And the president says, we give you anything, I want my minerals back in return.
Yes.
Okay?
Exactly.
President Trump is a businessman, and I trust Zelensky, whatever his name is. I trust him as far as I can throw him. I can't throw him far, and he's conning a lot of the American people. He is just as big as a con artist as Putin is. My opinion.
Well, he may well be, but the fact of the matter is, when he was read the Riot Act by the president and the vice president, he went back to Ukraine and said, we're going to have to do a lot of this. And they have done a remarkable job in terms of developing this new drone capacity. Right. And what the president said 2 weeks ago is, we will work with you on this. We will help you develop.
And helping, and also Victoria, helping, Zelensky stepped up and is also helping dealing with the Iranian drones because they're, with all ties with Russia. So that's been pretty interesting where he stepped up and helped the U.S. in that effort.
But this is how we can resolve Ukraine. I mean, because Ukraine is now taking back territory. It doesn't become our problem. That's Europe's problem. I mean, I agree with you, John. I mean, I don't have a lot of trust in leadership, but if they can start doing this on their own, that is how Trump has resolved the Ukraine war, by encouraging Ukraine to stand on its own 2 feet, figure out what its product is. We can sell that to partners and allies in the Gulf. That's great. And then Putin can just go pound sand, as far as I'm concerned. He's not a player anymore. If he's getting forced out of Ukraine in what is year 5 of his 3-day war.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting dynamic how they're all interconnected. Well, Victoria, thank you very much. We love hearing from you, and let's see where all this goes. Boy, interesting times we are in. Thank you, Victoria.
Thank you, Victoria.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for listening to Katz and Cosby with John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby. You can hear Katz and Cosby weekdays at 5. It's the 5 o'clock show on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?